Welcome to the Growth Minded Accountant podcast, where our experts will share best practices on running your firm in the digital age. This podcast is brought to you by CountingWorks Pro. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Growth Minded Accountant. I'm your host, Lee Reams II, founder and CEO of CountingWorks Pro. And today we're diving into a powerful topic that every tax and accounting firm should master. Landing pages. I know, don't jump up and down in excitement. You're like, why do I care about a landing page? Well, hopefully we're going to tell you about that the rest of this podcast. So whether you're looking to grow your practice, capture more leads, or convert those website visitors into loyal clients, landing pages are the secret weapon you might be missing. And why is that? Is because if you're utilizing landing pages properly, you're going to have higher conversion rates. And what that means, quite honestly, is you're going to convert more prospects to clients, right? So joining me today, again, is our Chief Visibility Officer, Rebekah Barton, who brings a wealth of expertise in digital marketing, SEO, copywriting, and client engagement. So welcome back, Rebekah, if you can say hello.
Hey guys, I'm looking forward to this one. This is an exciting topic. You're going to have fun.
All right, well, let's have fun. Let's try to have fun. We're not talking tax. We're talking marketing, which is kind of fun, and we're talking growth. So today what we're going to do is we're going to teach you what a landing page is. How is it different from your website? We're going to teach you how to use landing pages to create growth funnels that drive conversions, what role social media plays in driving traffic to your landing page, how to identify and target specific audiences for niche marketing, and finally, the best practices for building high converting landing pages. We will have some examples that will show, not many. So those that are listening to the podcast will get tons of value versus those watching on YouTube or otherwise. So we'll do a little screen sharing. So we'll also touch on some keywords and strategic messaging that can make or break your campaign. So whether you're a solo practitioner or running a multi-partner firm, you'll leave some actionable items to start building or optimizing your landing pages today. So Rebekah, let's dive into the details and start unlocking the full potential of your marketing strategy with landing pages. So Rebekah, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a landing page and how is it different than your website for tax and accounting firms?
Yeah, so there are a lot of misconceptions about this. A landing page looks like a website, but it's not officially. So it looks like a one-page website, but it's not getting fresh content. It doesn't have a blog attached. It doesn't have all the navigation, the contact forms, the landing page, or the drop-down menus. None of that exists on a landing page. It's going to just have very clear information for a targeted, very specific audience. Typically, we have the lead generation form above the fold. So if you think of like a newspaper, from the past, the above the fold would be above the crease on the paper. So same thing with a screen. We want to have that lead form very, very clearly displayed above the bottom of the screen on a landing page. Then as you scroll down, there's going to be multiple calls to action. There's going to be very concise, engaging copy about whatever topic you're covering. I kind of talk about three different buckets with landing page topics. One of them is going to be a specific demographic of people, like small business owners who work in the restaurant industry would be a highly specific thing. You could do high net worth individuals who need quarterly tax reviews. That would be another option. Another bucket would be services that you offer. So maybe you're launching something like virtual CFO services for the very first time and you want to promote those. The third bucket is going to be a temporary special offer. So like 50% off your monthly bookkeeping for the first 3 months if you sign up through this page. Those kinds of things are what you want to think about when you're setting up a landing page. You're not providing general information about your firm like you would be on a full website.
Yes, exactly. And then there's a lot of stats. We pulled some things from HubSpot and some other thought leaders. And basically one of them that I thought was interesting is it says businesses that have over 30 landing pages generate 7 times more lead than those with fewer than 10. And that's pretty amazing. And you can think about it if you are testing different offers, if you are not just niching, but you're niching deep, going deep into something, the more targeted your copy, the more targeted your images, that offer that you're doing, you're going to have higher conversions, right? So you can't do that when you try to say like on your website, you're trying to, you may be speaking to too many people, right? It kind of waters down the offering. And then by using landing pages, you're able to really talk specifically to your target audience. So let's talk now about what are some of the must-have elements of a high converting landing page, calls to action, things like that. Rebekah, if you can give some insight here.
Sure. So you're going to want to start with a really clear headline. We call them H1s. So basically, that headline is going to tell people what the page is about and provide them with any pertinent information about the special offer or the industry you're trying to serve. And I already mentioned, but you're going to want to have really concise copy. This is not the place to get wordy and write the great American novel. You're going to want to have very concise, engaging copy that tells people exactly how you can solve the problem that you're promising to solve. People want results, so show them right away, hey, here's what my tax and accounting firm is going to do for you to solve this problem that you're having, whatever it may be, or to address this issue that people in your industry have. You're going to want to have multiple calls to action. We call them CTAs. What a CTA is a line of text that encourages people to take some sort of action. Could be downloading an ebook in exchange for their email address. Could be clicking here to schedule a demo on your calendar link. Something like that is a call to action. It's typically best to have a diverse array of calls to action so people can engage in different ways. Maybe someone doesn't want your ebook, but they want to book a call with you right now. So you want to have several calls to action throughout the design. It's also really good to have social proof. Social proof can be ways you've helped people in the past, a testimonial from a satisfied client, something that shows people that they don't have to take your word for it. Other people also believe in what you do. So those are kind of some of the features that are going to make for a very high quality, very effective landing page.
So in going after, let's say, a restaurant owner, we talk often about addressing client pain points. So, that could be an example is I don't have enough time in the day to worry about my books, or, I need some growth capital. Things are up and down right now. I'm not getting as much traffic. How do I manage my cash flow? Those are kind of things that you should be addressing in your landing pages. So I have a question here. Would I just go after one of those, or would I include those in bullet points? Or is there maybe you try both and trial and error and iterate a little bit?
So I love iteration with landing pages because every demographic is different, right? So sometimes you're not going to know what's going to work for you and the people you're trying to reach until you try a couple of different things. Now, that said, you could hit on the right combination the very first time you throw a landing page out there onto the internet. Bullet points are a really good idea because they're easy to read. People can find them easily. They really drive home whatever point it is that you're trying to prove to people. So I like a section with bullet points on a landing page. You can also kind of use a mixture, right? You can repurpose some of that language into a shorter CTA that's maybe in a button or a download link. So I kind of like a mixture of using things like bulleted lists, buttons that are clickable, calls to action. One thing I tell people about landing pages all the time, and if you've ever talked to me, you've probably heard me say it, you want to use the same language repeatedly that you're using in the ads that are driving people to this page. Having that same language is going to help so much because you're drilling it into people's heads. So whatever your talking points are, use them over and over, use them in different ways, but continue using that same verbiage because that's going to get you the best results.
Yeah, and it's true in display advertising as well. If you have ads that are using X keywords and then you drive them to a landing page that is completely different, you're going to bounce. People are going to leave. So making sure the reason someone clicked on it, there was something in that ad you did, whether that be on social, whether that be in a display ad, that piqued their interest, right? So they want to make sure, okay, that's what I'm interested in. Probably the keywords that I was searching or the algorithm was using to show your ad in the first place. Hence, your landing page better speak to them as well. So I want to go over a little bit of like, what are the tools to create landing pages? Because if you're talking 30 landing pages, that sounds expensive. That sounds like a lot of work. Some have marketing concierge. So CountingWorks Pro, for example, we include landing pages within our platform. Depending on your subscription level, you can have multiple. We just had a client launch 10 at the same time. So, and then we have marketing concierge that actually builds them. We have a library of, I don't know, 60, 70 out of the box niche landing pages that you can version with white papers, things like that. So you have CountingWorks Pro is a good example. Higher end tools like HubSpot allow landing pages. And then there's specific tools like Unbounce, Lead Pages. They have various different subscriptions, templates, and so there's a lot of different tools that you can do. And now I'm sure there's some AI generating lead pages as well. So definitely think about all that. I like, obviously, a tool like HubSpot Accounting Works Pro, where I can now manage my website, my landing pages, my email, my CRM. Everything's connected and all the data is together versus having kind of a standalone deal. All right, so we've talked about the how to build them, what you should put in them, and what technologies to use. So let's talk about a little bit of how driving traffic or how you drive traffic to your landing pages. So you had mentioned, I think previously, and a lot of times you talk about social media and social media ads, but email, SEO, pay per click, partnerships, what are the best ways that you have found to drive traffic to the landing pages so it doesn't just sit there? And a secondary follow-up to it, if you do these correctly, will they rank in SEO?
So the very best way that I've seen people have success with landing pages is using social media ads. You can target very effectively. And I always tell people, think like your audience. So if you want to work with, a restaurant owner, do things like target people who follow the American Restaurant Association or who follow magazines pertaining to the culinary industry. Things like that can really help you reach the right people with your advertising. Social media, specifically Meta Business Manager, which is where you run ads for both Facebook and Instagram, has really, really great targeting that's going to help you reach the right demographic. But there are other ways. And depending on what you're doing, you might find that some other avenues also help you. So email can be really good if you're trying to use a landing page to upsell existing clients, people who already work with you. So let's say you're launching a virtual CFO package for the first time. You're offering money off through this landing page. You can send that out in an email blast to your existing bookkeeping clients and see if they're ready to upgrade. And that's a really good way to kind of upsell people easily. You're not having to send them through a bunch of navigation. You can easily track where those leads came in from. So email can be good depending on what your topic is. As far as SEO ranking goes, it's kind of a challenging subject because most landing pages are not going to rank well on their own. It's just a fact. That said, we now kind of look at SEO as more than search engine optimization, but search everywhere optimization. So there is a world in which if you're posting content, say to Medium, and you're driving people to that landing page from, say, Medium or Flipboard or some other website where you're posting content and linking back to the landing page, not your main website, it could see a bit of an SEO boost. It's not common and it's not a guarantee, but it's definitely something that could happen. And it does give you another avenue to drive traffic to your business without using your main website, if you're looking for those very highly specific niche clientele. I hope that all made sense. I feel like it was a little bit high level. So if you want me to go deeper, I can.
I got it.
Okay.
And then the SEO side, just something to think about is it would be much harder for a landing page that was targeting, let's say, Aliso Viejo CPA to rank in organic search versus having something that's really niched down and deep in a specific service for, I specialize in startups, but I also specialize in software SaaS startups. And that is the chances of that actually ranking organically are much higher than it would be if you're more what I'll call generic. But it can happen. But the idea is that with a landing page, you're going to have a higher conversion rate. So we're going to talk a little bit about success and how do you optimize performance. So Rebekah talked about what's great about landing pages is the fastest scientific experiment you could ever have. Conversion rates on a highly successful campaign could be as high. I've had them over 50%. The industry standard is a little below 10%, but trust me, I've seen things in the 1% and 2%, that don't do as well. But let's talk a little bit about what are the issues, like the KPIs, what is a bounce rate, time on page? What does that have to do with your performance and measuring if something's working or not? And then my follow-up to this is, how do you use this? I mean, you could literally price 3 different virtual CFO packages on landing pages and drive traffic to them to see if, which price point perhaps will return better. So kind of explain that.
Yeah, so there are some KPIs, like you mentioned, Lee, that you should be paying attention to. Conversion rate, obviously, first and foremost, because you're not necessarily going to have to put a ton of money behind, say, a social media ad to get a lot of success from a landing page, depending on how good your ad copy is, how good the landing page is, how much it's resonating with the people who you're targeting. So conversion rate's important. You obviously want to be getting conversions. If you're not getting conversions at all after, say, 7 to 14 days of running this ad, you're probably going to want to stop the ad, go back to the drawing board, try some tweaks, and start over. Bounce rate is also important because it's kind of giving you an idea of if you're reaching the right people, right? If people are clicking on your ad and going to the landing page, but they're immediately bouncing, still an indication that you're not reaching quite the right people. And you may want to go back and hone in on your targeting a little bit more so you're sending exactly the right people to that landing page. Time on page is important. More important for a website that you're trying to get to rank, though, because sometimes with a landing page, people might sign up almost immediately if they're really interested in what you're offering. But it's still a factor you should be paying attention to. You want to make sure that the copy is valuable, the content you're offering is something that's actually providing value for the people visiting your page. As far as A/B testing goes, that's huge with landing pages. Like Lee said, you can use a landing page, obviously, to promote almost any service or any type of demographic that you're wanting to reach. And A/B testing is a really good way to see what's going to work for you. So I kind of always tell people start with maybe $100 behind an ad campaign. See if it's working. If you're not getting conversions, stop it, make changes, make just a couple of changes. If that works, you can assume that those changes were the difference maker. And that's kind of a form of A/B testing, a simplistic form of A/B testing, where you could maybe change the CTA or change, some of the ad copy to see what's driving more people to the page.
And obviously you can do two versions of the same campaign, put $50 to this one, $50 to this one. So make it, similar. You can do weighted stuff as well. Another thing on just how to improve conversion rates, the use of video is a big booster. Some will say it's 50 to 80% higher conversion rates when you're adding video. I think that also kind of helps you tell your story a lot better. We're experimenting with a lot of the audio kind of conversational blogging tools right now, or kind of almost like a mini podcast. So that's another area that CountingWorks Pro clients could experiment with as well to see, what moves the needle as far as conversion. That really helps when people are kind of comparing you or trying to get to know you. There's nothing better than people talking about your firm and your personal aspects and really try to create that relationship side. So let's move into a little bit. We've talked about it. We've mentioned it now 3 or 4 times. The reason we mentioned this particular thing 3 or 4 times is it's that important. So niche audiences. So how do you determine, what niches you should go after? Is something you're good at? Is it something, the type of clients you like to work with? Is the market big enough? And then from picking a niche, when we say drill deep or go deep into it, give a couple examples if you can, and kind of elaborate a little bit more on the niche side.
Sure. So we've talked about this before, like you said, Lee. It's a common topic. It's something we've talked about in a lot of different podcasts. But to find your niche, sometimes you have to look at what you're already doing, right? I have a lot of clients who I talk to who are like, I don't have a niche. And then we get talking and they realize they actually do. Maybe 60% of their clients are already in the construction industry or the healthcare industry or different fields like that. So first of all, if you don't have an apparent niche, take a look at what you're already doing. You might have a niche and not realize it. Secondarily, look at your service offerings. If you're wanting to do some type of a niche service, focus on what's new, what you're just starting to offer. Obviously, advisory services are huge right now, something that everyone's kind of moving toward. So that can be a good place to start. I also have clients who specialize in, specific types of accounting software. They specialize in getting their clients going with QuickBooks or Xero. That can be a good niche because it's name recognition, right? Your ads are going to have name recognition for this software that people are already using. It's easy to target. Tell them you're going to optimize their performance with it. You're going to make every day in their office better because you're going to get them, up to date with their accounting software and show them how to really use it and optimize their processes. So those can kind of be ways to figure out what your niche is. As far as drilling deep goes, basically when we say that, we just mean really hone in. So instead of saying, I want to work with small business owners, which could be nearly anything, say I want to work with, boutique retail women's clothing owners in New York City. That would be drilling deep and really coming up with a demographic that you can target easily, and you can create copy and use imagery that it's going to resonate with a highly specific group of people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like another example is I want to target doctors. No, I actually want to target, Botox doctors, and that's really talking to the audience. It's gonna resonate. You're gonna have higher conversion rates. So there's a real science to that and drilling deep. I want to talk about a little bit of the challenges when building landing pages, what we see. Obviously, we've trialed and error. We have an idea of exactly what works, what doesn't. One item that if you're doing downloads, so if you're doing a white paper download or they're getting something for free, and this is you can argue both ways. If you don't collect enough data from the person, is it really valuable? Are they committed enough if they're going to risk their privacy to give you information? What we mean is by how many fields do you ask? So sometimes we'll have landing pages that people create and then they ask, instead of just first name or email or phone, they're digging really deep, the full address. They're asking all these demographic issues or questions, and automatically you're putting friction in the conversion process. There's data that talks about, how much you're going to lose when you're doing that, but definitely something to think about it. I've read some data from Unbounce that came out that said reducing form fields from 11 to 4 can increase conversions by up to 120%. So that's a big number there, right? So what are some other challenges you've seen, Rebekah, when people are putting together landing pages and trying to execute?
So overloading the page with information, information overload is huge with landing pages. Like we said, not the time to write the great American novel. You're going to want to have very short paragraphs. Bulleted lists are great. Things that really drive home the point of how you're going to help people who visit that page. The point of a landing page, obviously, is to get a lead who then becomes a client. So you need to give them the exact information they need to convert. You don't need to expound on a lot of the things. Just hit the key points and then save the storytelling for once you've already got them on the phone or you're having those conversations with them down the road. Weak CTAs are another thing. You really, really want to focus on having strong CTAs that encourage people to take specific actions. Book a call is a good one. Talk to a human can be a good one. That's a fun one that we use a lot at CountingWorks also. So that's one that can kind of drive people. Download a specific ebook, a specific white paper, something that's related to them. So you're not going to want to use these very kind of weak, wishy-washy CTAs. You want to make sure that you have strong calls to action that resonate with the people you're trying to reach. And then something else can be mobile optimization, which is not content related, but mobile responsiveness is really important in this day and age. A lot of people are going to be on their phones. They're going to be on an iPad. You want to make sure that your landing page loads properly on all devices, because if someone can't sign up easily on your lead form, if it's off the page or it's not loading right on a mobile device, they're likely to just leave and find another provider.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to just share real quick a couple samples of some niche landing pages, and so you can just get a general idea. So for those that cannot see, the first one is Discover the Virtual Family Office Advantage. It's got a picture of a successful looking couple that has a house somewhere in Puerto Vallarta, Hawaii, who knows, but it gets people to start dreaming. It thinks that this is what the financial outcome is all about. It starts with unlock your financial potential. The CTA is schedule a discovery call. And then it goes into kind of why choose a virtual family office. So what is it? I don't even know. Well, democratized access, unified wealth management, your trusted accountant as your guide, and it even gets into as the core of your family office is your trusted accountant. And making sure that everyone is doing everything in your best interest, right? So they're doing a really good job here. And then they included a white paper. So here's a white paper download with just 2 fields. So the chances of getting somebody to fill this out are much higher. Same firm, they also had a landing page for cannabis. Here they're doing a little more of informational, what is cannabis accounting? I'm not in the same state, could you still help me? What is a big pain point? It's gap cost accounting. They're using keywords, tax and accounting services for cannabis business owners. What do we do? They give some of the services, tax prep and planning, business structure and financing, auditing, accounting, and then they follow it up with a promise or some social proof. So really solid, nice, clean. I have one more here real quick. Here's landscaping. Again, imagery. If you're looking on the visual side, they're using, what is the language? Tax help, designed for landscaping business and contractors. So keywords right away, images that are all in the landscape side. And this just makes it much, much more for the conversion side. So you're speaking to an audience, What are they doing? I do comprehensive services landscapers. What does that include? And they're using some language that speaks to their audience, planting the seeds of profitability, right? So there's a lot of clever stuff in the way the copy is done. Get some social proof here with a 5-star review, and then a strong call to action, contact me, explore my services, or even a link out to About Us, right? Another short form to figure out, add your contact information. But these are kind of examples of what a successful campaign could look like. So I know there's a lot of things with AI and kind of the future of landing pages. We're going to start developing ways to, you can create landing pages through our software. And what's great about that is our AI assistant is trained on the tax code and accounting related topics. So we've literally loaded thousands and thousands and thousands of articles. We've written all these different tax strategies, hundreds and hundreds of tax strategies. We're updating the IRS pubs, the tax code all the time. It's real-time information. And what can happen here is if you use our AI assistant to help you write, so create a landing page. First of all, it can help you. Let's talk about this, Rebekah. How would you ask AI assistant to help you brainstorm on what landing pages you should do?
So you would enter a prompt, obviously, that's how you start out. Say something like, hi, I run a tax and accounting firm in whatever city you're based in. We specialize in working with small business owners who are in the restaurant industry. We're looking to create a landing page to drive some leads. We'd like to grow our business. Can you give me some copy ideas, some ideas for special offers that I could put on a landing page? Thank you. And then you hit enter, and it should spit out some really, really great plans for you that you can then implement.
Yes, and I like the thank you part. I saw something, I don't know, I don't want to throw one in particular model under the bus, but some student asked a question, and it said some really mean things back to the student based on the way they asked the question. So sometimes the AI can go rogue, but no, it's an awesome tool. And if you had anything where you wanted to talk about a strategy, for example, using a tool like CountingWorks Pro's AI assistant, which is trained and trusted, we trust the results coming back. You're going to get much better copy and perhaps some like strategies that you wouldn't get, if you're trying to do generic things. So 100%, I see adding voice and whether that be some podcasting or stories or things that you can have conversations about topics. I think that's also going to be really beneficial for users going forward. I think you're going to get higher conversion rates. And basically because a lot of times you can't break down a lot of these high-end complex issues in just a landing page. So being able to do that with a conversational, and AI we're already doing it for our clients. It's amazing, integrating this more and more into our CRMs and even the follow-up. So a lot of different ways to go. So I think we've done a pretty good overview. We wanted to talk about landing pages because a lot of times they're kind of a missing element. Specifically, if you want to test out new markets, you want to test out new offerings. Perhaps you want to become more of a thought leader with an audience and have some white papers or some special reports or perhaps like KPIs for a specific industry. It's a way to reach people in educational thought leadership marketing that you may not be trying today. So 100% landing pages do work. They will help improve your conversion rates. We have lots of clients that are doing them and managing them through our dashboard and doing very well with it. So hopefully we've addressed kind of the basics. What is it? How to use it? How to build it and some of the best practices. And then again, niche down and go deep as you want. So that wraps up this edition of the Growth Minded Accountant. We have some exciting things on the docket here for the future. I think tax reform is going to be a big one. We're going to continue to talk about it. There's just a lot of opportunities coming here. And then more and more how AI is kind of changing the game and integrating into products. So lots of things for tax and accounting firms to utilize here in the coming tax season. So again, I appreciate you joining us today. Feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn with any questions or visit our website at accountingworkspro.com if you had any questions. Again, thank you very much.